Hi, it's Tess, and today's tip is 459, and I'm still reading the book High Performance Habits with Brendan Bouchard, which is a book that we got when we were at Sundance earlier this year. And he kind of talked about something today that I found very interesting. He was talking about certainty and how you need to replace certainty with curiosity. And he talked about alignment too, which is a law of attraction term, but he kind of explains it in a different way because this is all about the high performance habits and what is a high performance habit and how do you identify these people. And I just found it really interesting. I love that I'm listening to a lot of materials, I'm reading a lot of materials, and so you do have to be careful because sometimes people's interpretation is a little bit different, but you can see the same pattern or the same veins going through. And the one thing I'm going to say is that certainty is something that he says will blind you. It will prevent you from moving forward and it will block you. Hi, Bonnie, good to see you. And if anyone else is on, hello. I just don't see your name but if I do, I'll say hello. So the idea with Brendan Bouchard is he was talking about certainty as being crippling. It's blinding. It blocks you from moving forward. And I thought that was really interesting. Hello, hello. And I thought that was really interesting because it kind of reminds me a lot of what Doc V says all the time too. People are always stuck in habits. They can't drink water, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do this, they can't do the other. Well, that certainty that you can't change will prevent you from winning on the weight loss journey. It'll prevent you, actually in Brendan Bouchard's book, it'll prevent you from being a high performance person or achieving all your goals in life. And again, like all the disciplines, you'll see some veins, you'll see the same veins of education and how to move forward. And it's interesting when you look at it, but I thought the way he talked about this today, certainty being blinding, because I used to always come at things that I wanted certainty. I wanted to research. As an accounting person, there are things that I need to do that have to be certain. But what I need to do is let go of the idea of maybe the approach of it, or maybe there's a new way of doing something, maybe there's a better avenue. You know, certainty and yes, does the account balance, but maybe it's not the best account we should be using going forward. You know, there should be some openness to it. And I thought it was really interesting because when he was talking about this, it made me think about Doc V all the time. If you're, are you going to own that? Is that what you're going to hold? Like when people say, I can't eat a green smoothie, I don't like the taste of it. He's like, well, is that what you're going to hold? We have to stop with that certainty of what we think we can't do and open up for new avenues and new opportunities, because that's what will get us to the next level. I know for me, I got to the same point that I was the first time I lost 100 pounds and I got stalled. And that's when COVID hit and I got scared. And what I have done since I've been in Doc V's challenge is I've tried to revisit everything and do it differently. I developed a new set of practices in the morning, one small step at a time. I opened myself up to foods that I didn't eat before. And what I found is that I liked things that I thought I didn't like, especially after I'd cleansed my palate of all the processed chemical foods. And I've even found that even in my family, they're saying the same thing. Oh, if they stopped and bought a buy one, get one free burger, they're like, oh, there's a heavy chemical taste in that. So if you will let go of certainty and open up to new avenues, you might find that curiosity will make a journey that you're really enjoying. I really, truly like what has happened to my life since I joined Doc V's tribe. He's introduced me to the other people like Chris Nagel and team. I've gone to several of their masterminds. I've gone to, Secret Knock with Doc V. If Doc V has one on the ranch, I'll go to that. I like the knowledge. I like the expanding. I like the looking at life differently. I like the growth that I'm seeing. And I like the opportunities and the meeting all the new people that I've met. And it's taken my life down paths that I truly probably always wanted when I was younger, but I closed them off when I gained so much weight. When my BMI got as high as it did, I almost considered myself what people will call into this certain part of your life where your opportunities are limited. But what I'm going to say and what I've found is that your opportunities are never limited. Age is never a barrier. You can overcome a lot of things. You just have to be willing to let go of that certainty of what you once knew that may not. Oh, hi, Diane, good to see you. You need to let go of that certainty of what you think and Doc V says this all the time. And Chris says this too. It's what you think you know that just isn't so that's going to block you up. We have to let go. Or like Doc V says, all these programs, he taught a certain way when he was a doctor based on how they were educating and based on how they were moving forward. Oh, thank you so much. I know I just had my hairs fixed today. But, and I feel great. And I will always be grateful to Doc V because this tribe, he pulled me back and helped me and kind of like connected with what I've read in Brandon Bouchard's book today, is he's helped me to let go of that idea of what I was certain my future life would be. I let go of that certainty and I just went out and I investigated. I researched, I became a part of groups, and I moved forward in a different way. And it's been a lot of fun and it's been exciting and it's provided opportunities that I never thought would exist. Hi Maria, good to see you. And I'll always be grateful for that. I met Shan when I was at Secret Knock. I met Mandy Etherton at Secret Knock. I met Carol. I met SOB, Susan Obeem. I mean, there's so many of them. Joseph Lorenzo. There were so many people. I agree, life-changing for sure. Doc V has helped me, yeah, tremendously. And I think that idea, and he's really kind of tried to tell us this in the tribe, and some of us do fight it. It's what we think is absolute that kind of trips us up. Yeah, definitely the best. And that idea of if we're in the tribe and we're trying to learn from Doc V, we have to step back sometimes. And what we are certain is the right path, sometimes we got to step back and find a different path. Even myself, I'm going to say I grew up with gardeners my whole life. And until he said, why don't you just see what you can create on your own? Now I'm getting harvests every year, and it's really something I probably should have been doing long ago because I come from a family of farmers, actually, and or they've grown stuff their whole life. I can remember as a child, my grandmother had acres of raspberries. We'd pick raspberries. She'd sell them on the roadside. And it's interesting when you start to look at life differently. I, as a person who removed myself from fast foods once I had surgery, and I've had enough time to be away from it, there's a whole new flavor that was masked by the chemicals of processed like sweeteners that I've been reintroduced to because I stepped away from what I knew, which was I thought I needed all these, whether it was artificial sweeteners or just the normal sweeteners. I got to a point where I was counting on that stuff. I let go of artificial sweeteners at one point because of my niece. She sent me article after article after article about how horrible they were for you. But then Doc V, come Doc V, and it's the same thing. It's a chemical poop storm that goes off in your body. And what I'm finding is as I continue to open up and let go of certainty and try something new, I'm finding new things to experience, to enjoy, and to love moving forward. The community of people in Doc V's tribe are family, and awesome, like-minded people. We grow together and we develop friendships. And it's true because my circle of friends, and I always kind of talk about, I have my heart circle, which are my family, that, my family and friends that have been there since probably the day I was born, or very close to it, because I still have elementary school friends that I'm connected to still to this day. But then outside of it, I kind of call it the Fort Knox. And I called it the Fort Knox after I got stuck on the zip line at Sundance, and only because those are the people that support you and cheer for you and want you to move forward. But kind of what I felt like after I got stuck and I was embarrassed, I just kind of felt like they were there. They'd study a hand if I needed it, but they let me move forward. And it was kind of a beautiful thing that there's the support and there's the encouragement, but they also know that the journey is yours to walk. And that was a hard lesson to learn too. I kind of approach things, and I did this with Chris once, and he probably doesn't even realize it, but I used to hide. I used to say, well, I don't know if I could do that. I'm not sure. Don't give me work to do. And what I actually did is I set the stage so that if I failed, I didn't have to feel bad. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Diane. I really appreciate that a lot. And you guys helped me a lot by being here and supporting. And I have to give it up to Doc V because he's the one who really made me do this. But, oh, thank you. That means a lot. especially since now I'm officially a senior citizen. It's like, oh, but I love, and that's maybe what it is. There's such a curiosity. I let go of certainty. I let go of, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm going to try this. And this is with Chris and his team, and this is with Doc V and his team. There are things that they are trying to show us that are not always comfortable, but they're very honest. And they are telling you like it is. And if you move forward with it, you find the things that fit into your life, and you'll watch your life unfold in ways you never dreamed possible. Like the things that I'm doing and the way I've taken control of things and looking at things differently, like even my work life. I have no issues with working, but I want to work in a way that follows my passion, helps other people, because I think it is true what they say, and helping other people, things will come to you that you need. But it also opens the door. I worked in corporate America, and I'll call it corporate handcuffs, for many, many years, and actually I'm still in that. But I'd like to see life differently. You know, what different way can I leave my mark on this world? And big, Doc V pushing me into avenues that I'm not comfortable with has opened doors that I never dreamed were there. And that idea of certainty, had I stuck to my guns about being certain I could not do it live, and for those who don't know, when I first started doing them, I did them in the wee hours of the morning, in the dark. I didn't even have lights on so that nobody would see me. And here I am, 450 in. And 450 some in is not the end of it, because I've been going live 1 to 5 times a week in Doc V's group. So there's a lot of lives out there that I've done. But if I hadn't let go of certainty, certain that I couldn't do it, I would never have tried. If I hadn't let go of the certainty that I hated green smoothies, I wouldn't have found that I really do like them. I like how it feels to have a fast for a period of time, pick up a green smoothie and break that fast. I like how I feel when I recognize what foods weigh me down and make my workday harder than it needs to be. I like how it feels to say, hey, today I'm going to do 2,000 steps and I got them done. I like being able to check in with my AP and accomplish things. There are days I don't accomplish it. There are days that we fall backward. But that's why Doc V built that network, to help us keep moving forward. And I loved when Brendon Burchard in High Performance Habits, which is a book that we got at Sundance in March, I like how he explained that certainty is a blindfold. Certainty is a blindfold because it doesn't allow you to learn. It doesn't allow you to create a better way, and it doesn't allow you to create a better life. And those are things that I'll always be grateful. He said that if you want to be a high performance person, because he's got a whole book about that, and he's got an amazing story too, but he talks about that high performance people succeed beyond standard norms consistently over the long term, while maintaining positive well-being and positive relationships. And I can see all these pieces coming together, because he's got the habits, like setting up the structure, but he's also talking about the alignment. The alignment is keeping yourself in that place of feeling good, being positive, encouraging your relationships, because even he talks about, he doesn't use the word law of attraction, but he talks about the idea that high performance people are not necessarily what they're calling high performance people if every area of their personal life is destroyed, because they don't learn how to let go of certainty of the old way of doing things, do things differently, but align so that they're feeling good about the journey that they're on. And that's been critical for me since I joined with Doc V's tribe. I didn't realize I had such a large self-worth problem. I didn't realize I had such a bad self-talk problem. I was the worst at being certain that everything was going wrong, until I had to open up and let it go. And it's changed my life. Letting go and opening up to seeing things in a different way and trying things differently, and to stop blocking myself. Because if you say I can't drink the water, you're not going to drink it, because you put an idea out there that you're drawing to yourself. And that was a hard thing for me to grab a hold of. But you can make changes, and you can make them in such a beautiful way. So this is the High Performance Habits from Brendon Burchard. But think about, what are the areas in your life that you're certain, you're absolutely certain you're doing it the right way? Because maybe that's the one thing that if you turn it a little bit, you can open up and start to see some progress in your life that you haven't been able to see up to this point. it's been life-changing for me. Every time I find one of those, I have to try to find another and release it, because I've had a lot of years to accumulate a lot of them. Yeah, and that Diane is saying it. Doc V says, you got to stop arguing for the certainty that's not serving you anymore. You got to stop arguing for it. You have to stop. If you're arguing for it, that might be your first indication that maybe you need to reevaluate, and maybe that's the thing that's blocking you. And I think I was guilty of that. I thought I didn't like green smoothies, and I love them. And I always joke that I love to play with my blood work when it comes back from the doctor. Okay, and everything for me, and everybody needs to follow up with their own doctor, but 6 years out, everything falls within the line for me. So I always go, which one is a little bit low? Like what kind of fruits or vegetables can I add to my smoothie that might bump that up? So I kind of make it a game, and it's kind of fun. How many steps can I get today with mom? Or how, what can I, can I pretend like I'm practicing, and no, I'm not doing like full-fledged chin-ups and pull-ups, but I'm just getting the motions down. Like Doc V said, commit to the process, even if that just means putting your hand on the wall and holding them. Just commit to something in the process. And I'm finding now that letting go of that certainty and being curious about something new and learning new things and experiencing new things and meeting new people, all of you guys that I've met, it's really made life so much more fun. So I know it sounds like a lot of work, but when you get over that first initial, like I talked about the other day about when you first start climbing the mountain, it seems kind of sluggish at first, and it might be for some, I don't want to say painful, because that's in how we look at it. But if you can just say, oh, you know what, this is just a little bit of a change that I'm learning. When you get to the top of that hill and the momentum hits because you made changes, you opened up with that certainty and allowed yourself to be curious and learn something new. When you look back over your shoulder, you'll be like me, where I'm going, like somebody mentioned to me on a live the other day, they're like, at the beginning of the year, you were at like 175 lost, you're at like 190. And it's true. All of a sudden, I'll look back and I'll go, wow, because I don't get married to that particular moment. I just look for making things better going forward. So if you are certain that your life has to run a particular way, that might be the first thing you want to stop and evaluate, because maybe it was certain 15 years ago, but the world we live in now is different, and you might be hurting yourself or causing things to go slower. So I would almost, for myself, I'm going to keep myself open to look at everything, because what works today may not work tomorrow. And I know even in my journey, what I did after surgery is different than what I did a year after surgery, what I did 2 years ago, and what I'm doing now. And if I can look at it and continue to look at it, and I do look at it as learning, curious, and fun, that keeps me in alignment and happy in all my relationships and in my journey. And it makes doing the journey fun, because this journey for me is truly fun. Just a reminder for those who haven't seen it in a while, that is who I was pre-surgical 6 years ago. I won't ever go back to being that person. And even that, saying that I won't ever go back to being that person, that scared me in the old days, because that I thought was jinxing myself. But what I've learned now is that it's about the thoughts that I say to myself. And thinking about it as a jinx put a negative thought in my mind, which is not being aligned. So look for that thing that you're certain about. And maybe there is something of it you need to hold on to. And maybe there is something that you can change. And get curious. Learn and enjoy this. I am enjoying this so much that, like I keep telling everyone, the Grim Reaper is going to have to chase me down, and he better start getting fit, because if he's not, he ain't got a shot at trying to catch me. Thank you guys for being here. I will be live in Doc V's group tomorrow night. I went and got my hair done tonight, so I moved it to tomorrow night because I wasn't sure I'd be home. So I'll just do it tomorrow night, because it's been in the group that way all day today. But thank you guys for being here. We'll touch base tomorrow, and I appreciate you all more than you'll ever know. Get curious and let go of certainty. Thanks.